everyone, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at the Beast Racer Converting Zord from Power Rangers Beast Morphers. I actually finally have it. I have to give a huge shout out to my buddy Shuk for picking this up for me. He found it at the magical land of Meyer, where apparently you go for all your toy needs when you're not at Walgreens, because that's apparently where toys exist now in our society. But yeah, I've never seen one of these in person. I know that a lot of people were finding them at Toys R Us in Canada, where that still exists. But I mean, Walmart doesn't even carry these, and Target only ever has the first three: the silver, yellow, and blue. Never anything else. I don't even know if it's the same assortment. I'm assuming it's not. So yeah, I'm just happy to actually finally have this thing, because I have a bunch of Zords I've had for a while with nothing to connect them to. So huzzah, we're finally going to get to do something. As you can see here, it has a robot mode, a cheetah mode, and a car mode. Packaging, very fun and colorful. This art on the side is awesome. I love that quite a bit. On the side over here, it shows the Megazord and the Ultra Zord, and it shows them over here on the back as well. Shows you the 5 Zords, and it says 1, 2, and 3 make the Beast X Megazord, and then all 5 make the Ultra Zord. All 3 modes for this guy over here on the side: Cheetah mode, Beast Racer mode, and Battle mode, or Robot mode, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, really excited to finally get a hold of this guy. I know a lot of people bought the Ultra Zord from Amazon. At the time, for some reason, I thought it was going to be cheaper to buy these individually, and for video purposes, I thought it would make more sense. If I had known it was going to be so hard to find these, I would have just bought the thing from Amazon and been done with it. But in any case, it's finally here. Let's get out of the box. Let's take a closer look. So here is the Beast Racer Zord out of the packaging. He definitely seems very thin. And I think it has to do with, like, I don't know. I definitely think it has to do with some of the articulation points, but we'll get there in a minute. But I don't know. Overall, he just seems a little anemic. I don't know what other word to use. Like, he seems very thin. And I think it's because of how weirdly he stands. So how this works, he does have movement in the hip like this, and it can go back, but it can't go out. But he does have a joint here, and it really has to do with the transformation into car mode. But you can see that it kind of goes out to the side, spins there, and then he does have a knee joint. You can bend it there at the knee. So you can do basically a thigh swivel, a knee joint, and then he also has an out to the side thigh joint. I don't know why. And then there's a little hinge in here as well. So it's definitely a little weird. I feel like you can get a decently wide stance out of him, which I think makes him look a little better. He just needs to take up a little bit more space, I think. So I feel like that works a little bit better. And you can kind of tilt these out if you think that'll look a little better. Tilt them out, tilt them in, whatever you want. And so like there, he looks a little bit better, I think. But when you just have like the legs all the way in together, it makes him look really weird and thin. He does have a swivel here in the shoulder. He has a shoulder joint hinge here. He's got some nice ratcheting, actually, if you hear, in this kind of bicep joint. I don't know, it's like a weird second shoulder. But then he does have a swivel above the elbow, and then he's got about 90 degrees in the elbow as well. Fists do not move at all. He does have torso. He does have head can move side to side. The head can actually go down, so if you like that look better, you can certainly do that. But they do kind of give him a little bit of a neck. I'll be honest, I kind of like it better just like that. I think maybe because that's what I'm used to. But they do give him that little bit of an extra neck. But I'm going to leave it down. It tends to fall down anyway. It's not a problem, but... So yeah, he's just got a little bit of weird articulation, and I think it's mostly because of the transformations. But I think if you just have him splay out the legs a little bit at that weird, out to the side knee joint, I think he looks a little better. You can see the sword. This is a light gray plastic, and then you have the red here. It just pegs into the fist. Really nice length, actually. I think it's a really nice long sword. That works pretty well and can slide in and out fairly easily. So this thing doesn't peg in the best. It kind of comes out kind of easily, but you just kind of pop it in and it'll stay. I mean, it's not going to fall right out if you shake it or anything like that, so it's not bad. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer up on the helmet. I'm going to adjust the camera. I wanted to get a close-up look at the head sculpt there. You can see the glasses. You can flip these out to the side, and then you can see the eyes underneath. I feel like it's almost like a glow-in-the-dark paint, like right here in the eyes. It's kind of a weird choice. I don't think it glows in the dark, but I could be wrong. The cheetah's eyes are kind of painted the same color. But you can close up the glasses, and if you want, you could fold this back down. You have to do it for the transformation. We'll get there in a moment, but yeah, he looks pretty good. And he's got nice paint overall. I think the articulation is a little goofy, but other than that, I think it's a pretty decent looking robot mode with, you know, just kind of the paint applications and the design and everything. He looks pretty neat. Let's go ahead and first we'll get him into the car mode. So pretty simple, just going to go ahead and take the sword out of his hand. You're going to turn the arms to the side and then fold them up like that. And then you're going to swivel this around, and you can see how this kind of fits flush. All that silver lines up down there. You're going to fold down the head spike, flip the glasses to the side, make sure the head's pushed down if it's not already, and then you're going to fold these back and they will clip together right there. So there you go, that is the back of the car. Of course, go ahead and take off the cheetah head. You can fold these down. Now the directions have you fold these down later, but I think it's easier if you do it now. Then you're going to just bring these out on the weird sideways knee joint and bring this up here and bring this up here, and then this will all clip together. So if we move this down, bring the sword, flip this around, push that in like that, and then this will drop into this little spot right there. So you just drop this in just like that, and that is the redonkulous spoiler for this thing. If you would like to put the cheetah head in the front, you lift this up. And I will say that this part down here feels a little flimsy. It's not too bad, but you can see that there's kind of like a little indentation right there. You're going to take the cheetah head, and there's a little clip right here, and then this tab is going to rest in that indentation. So you kind of put this underneath first, and then you have to fit this in there, and then it kind of rests in that indentation, and there you go. So that is the car mode with the cheetah head attached, and I will go ahead and adjust the camera. So I think it looks pretty good in this mode. Rolls fairly decently. Not amazingly, but decently. I've always liked the design of this car. It's a very futuristic, weird looking car, and I like it. I like the silver paint on the side, looks very nice. The gold looks good up top. I think it works pretty well. So yeah, that is the, hold on, let me get the official name from the box here. The Beast Racer mode. But yeah, I think it works. Alright, next up, I should say last and probably least, is the Cheetah mode. You're going to take this and pop this back down, put it back into Zord mode, put that off to the side. This is really weird. So as you can see, this red right here is what on the Japanese version used to be the legs of the cheetah. This whole section would just flip down, and then the legs would just extend out. They've done it a little differently here. They've taken this, just the black piece here, and this flips down, and then what you're supposed to do is kind of, you can see that there's two hinges. You just kind of put it down underneath like this, so that the two hinges, this piece that's on the two hinges is straight down, and you do the same on the other side, and just kind of sits on top of the other one. It's not a huge problem, but it does give a lot of weird baggage underneath. Whereas the old one, on the Japanese version I should say, just kind of flipped down and it just kind of felt like the body of the Cheetah, which it was a little weird looking, I'm not going to lie. You can see flip the legs down here like this. So either way, there was like weird stuff hanging down, so I guess it's not really that big a deal, but this is going to flip down like this, then this is going to flip down, and then this is going to flip down, and that's how you get the back legs. So do the same on the other side. Flip this down, flip that down. It makes a terrible sound when you do that, but it's okay. Then you're going to take this, and you'll see that there is another spot right here to go ahead and thread this through. You can do it like this, you can do it like this. I think you're supposed to do it like this technically, but there is the Cheetah mode. It's all right. It's not the best, but I see what they're going for. I mean, again, it's very heavily inspired by the Japanese version, and that was a weird Cheetah mode as well, so it's not really Hasbro's fault. They're working with what they got, but I don't know. I don't love this. The first time I saw pictures of it online, someone just had them hanging down like this, and I thought that looked terrible. So at least you can kind of tuck them under a little bit. It's not too bad. But yeah, I definitely think it's the lesser of the three modes, but you know, it's not too bad. It kind of looks like a cheetah. So I've returned him to robot mode. Before we get into the full Megazord combination, he does actually have some compatibility with the Stag Beetle, or I'm sorry, Scarab, or whatever they call him. He does have some connectability with this guy, so I'm going to go ahead and take this part right off here. This is so loosely pegged on that it pretty much just falls off anytime you move anything around, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it off. You can take this whole back section off here, and then you can actually take these side sections off this middle torso section of the Scarab. I guess it's a torso, I don't know. The midsection, you can flip down, pop out the fuselage of the jet, and then this piece here will peg right into his hand as like a giant gun, I guess. I'm still not really sure what that's supposed to be. Going to come over to the arm and flip this up like we were going to transform it into car mode again, and then you just flip it up like this, and that's because he has the connection port under there. We're going to take these two pieces, which can now peg together. You want to fold back the Scarab legs for the most part. So you want to bring these in. You don't want to put them all the way up. Maybe bring them just a little forward because you need to get some clearance when you go ahead and pop this connector port up. And you want to make sure that these are a little out of the way so they don't bump into the arm when you connect this. There you go. You can actually come around to the back. And this piece, you can see the connection right there, is going to slide in. I guess we have to fold this back, and then this slides in here, and then this pegs in. Now, you know what? I think I have this upside down. This pegs in like this. There we go. And then this connects back on. Or you can leave it off. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to leave that down. So here we go. Here is the connection with the Scarab. He's got kind of like a crazy giant arm, and then he's got this kind of plain gun, jet gun, whatever you want to call it. He definitely leans a little bit to that side because he's kind of heavy. But it's kind of a neat mode. I mean, it's not amazing, but I appreciate the fact... Oh, I never showed you that the Cheetah mouth can actually open and close, which is a nice touch. So there you go. That's the combination with the Scarab or Stag. Not amazing, but it's kind of neat that it has functionality at all. Alright, so changing them back to robot mode, we're going to get ready for the giant Megazord combination. You're going to go ahead and put the arms back up like you're transforming him into car mode. And then you're going to flip these around again because you need those connection ports down. You're going to pop this back and fold back the shades. Take this off and then come down here and fold the feet all the way down. And then I'm going to position the legs in a little bit off to the side, but not super off to the side position. And then I would say this guy is ready for the most part. Actually, no, I'm just going to go ahead now and plug this in. This little clip right here pegs into this clip right here. There we go. So that's where that's going to go. So this guy is just about ready. Next up we have Gorilla and Rabbit. Just basically completely take them apart as much as you can. This piece comes off. Going to take this off of here. The rabbit head's going to come off. Put that down. These thrusters on the side are going to come off. These are going to come off. You're going to take these, flip this piece down, flip this around, and then flip out the fists like that. Do the same with the other one. Flip out the fist, which is a little bit easier said than done. There we go. Okay, so those are going to be your arms. We'll put them off to the side. Come to the gorilla. Completely disassemble him as well. Take his arms off. Take the head off. This comes off. Some of these I feel like I'm going to break them sometime, but they're actually pretty sturdy, pretty solid. So take that apart. You're going to take the arms, fold this down. Make sure this isn't turned in any way, so it's pretty straight so that you can fold that in. You're going to take this and this. No, I have this wrong. You're going to take this one. You want the gorilla foot to be pointing to the back so that this is going to be the front of the leg. So then you can see that there's a clip here, a peg there, clip here, peg hole there, and then there's a clip here, which is going to go into that clip there. So you just push these all together, and they clip together pretty strongly, pretty securely. Take this one, do the same thing. Take this, really peg that in. There's your foot. Put that off to the side. Take this piece, push this down. These will fold down like this. Take your gorilla head, push the visor down, turn it upside down, and this will clip on here like that. Make sure, oh, this is actually, that's always stuck out there like that. And then you're going to take this piece and this piece, and there's actually some clips right here and here, and that's going to clip in here and here. Just like that. If you want to angle these in any way you can, it really doesn't matter. Then you're going to take the sword, and you're going to clip these onto the side. And then the sword's ready. This piece will just get connected. This piece will get, I guess actually we can put this on our one arm where that goes. And then the head pieces will go on at the end. So I think we're ready. We have all our pieces ready. Let's go ahead and get assembling. Alright, so we're going to start with the legs. We're going to bring the red racer. Hold on, I forgot the name already. These things are so convoluted. Beast Racer Converting Zord. There we go. I'm just going to call it the red guy Zord. Here we go. We're going to bring this in. Now, I'm not exactly sure how these connect. You can see that there's a peg in there, and I'm assuming that that's connecting into like this little divot right here. But it's really kind of weird. You just kind of slide it in, and it's kind of weird to find the exact spot where it goes. But when you put it in, it holds. Like, it holds really well. I kind of just like to use this as a guide. And you just kind of slide this in. And again, it's kind of weird. I can't often... There we go. I think that's in. I think those are both in. So there are your feet. We're going to come up here. Take our arms and peg them into these connectors right here. Make sure that that's all the way on. And I kind of move them a little forward, because the arms kind of bump into the legs a little bit, especially if you want to kind of put them in any kind of normal stance. So the nice thing is that you can actually bend the arms at the elbow, which I don't believe is something that the Japanese version could do. So that's kind of cool. So kind of bend them at the elbow. We'll take this piece and plug this into the chest here. Make sure we get around the arms. You can kind of lift these up a little bit, but not too much. Because the next thing we're going to do, well, we'll take the little rabbit head, and this just pegs into the other spot over here. It doesn't clear 100%. You kind of have to move this arm a little bit, but it will connect on there. Come around to the back, and this piece will clip on right here. It's very much just kind of a store the extra parts you don't really need. We'll go ahead and put the sword into the hand, and then last but not least, and this is something I think is a little weird. So you can see here on the back of the head that there is a very large peg hole, and this is the back of the head. There should be a little peg right here that pegs into the back of that head so that this stays on, and then this piece pegs on top of it to keep it all very firmly in place. Unfortunately, that is not the case. But you lift this up. You do have to lift it up this time. You pop this on the back, and then you just kind of sandwich them together, and they will peg together. Although apparently not well. I've done this before. I know it works. Why is it giving me the business right now? There we go. There we go. No? There it is. So there is the fully combined Beast X Megazord. So honestly, he's not bad. He definitely feels very tall and kind of very skinny, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, that way he doesn't seem super blocky. He definitely has some random kibble hanging off the back. If you really wanted, you could just not connect that and just leave it off to the side. It doesn't really add anything. It's just somewhere to store it in case you wanted to display it like this. But yeah, overall, he's not too bad. Articulation-wise, the head can actually swivel from side to side. The arms can still, since you have Red's kind of normal movement there, you have a swivel there. You can kind of go out to the side a little bit, but again, it hits the head, so be careful. You do have a swivel here in the bicep, I guess. You have a 90-degree bend in the elbow, which is pretty cool. Nothing in the wrist. I guess technically the torso still moves. Yeah, the torso still moves because it still has Red's torso there. You still have all Red's hip movement. So you can, all the weird hip movement that we had in the normal Red Ranger. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It's actually got a decent amount of articulation, like more than you would expect. And overall, I think it looks pretty cool. Like I said, what I would have done, I think, I would have made it a little bit shorter. And I mean, you would have had to just, like, on a fundamental design, you would have had to somehow, like, scale the legs down a little bit. But then, you know, then you run into, like, a scaling problem. Like, does he look like the proportions would be off? So, I don't know. But if it was me, I would have just made him a little bit shorter. Like, just bring these up a little bit. And I know it's probably in scale with how the Japanese one was and what he looks like on the show. But I don't know. I always just kind of thought his legs were a little too long, but that's just me. But overall, I mean, I like the fact that you can splay the legs out a little bit so that he can stand very well. He doesn't really have any problems with weight distribution or anything like that. He feels pretty solid. Like if I pick him up and I shake him, nothing's really going to fall off of him. So, very cool. I think he actually looks pretty good, and I'm happy with it. And I think it's kind of funny. Some parts of it feel like the plastic is like, I don't want to say cheap, but it feels like hollowish in spots, but it still feels solid in other spots. Like, it's very hard to describe. It can sometimes have a cheap feel, but I do actually think it's pretty sturdy. It's very weird to describe, but I don't think it's brittle, I'll say that. So I think, because sometimes when I'm pulling things apart and clipping them together, I get a little nervous. about if something's going to snap off. But so far, everything's been pretty good, pretty solid, and overall, I think he looks pretty great. So ultimately, I think this guy is pretty fun. I would say he's probably one of the few Zords at this price point that's actually worth it. And I don't mean that to say that the other ones aren't good, but I feel like I think I said this in one of the previous reviews. When you have like 5 different things at a size class of $30, some of them are probably worth a little bit more than 30, and some of them are worth a little bit less. And that's how they kind of balance it out for the line and make it all kind of the same price for them for production. And I think this guy is definitely on the higher end. Um, it doesn't feel as like sturdy or intricate as like a Transformer at the same price point, but I definitely think it's taller. Like I don't have a Voyager super handy, but I would say like a Voyager Transformer probably comes up to about his like bicep. So it's a little bit taller. It's definitely like I want to say it's like a thicker plastic. I don't know how to like the plastic is so weird to me because when you first look at it, it kind of feels cheap, but then in certain places it feels really thick and dense. So I don't know how to describe it. It's a very strange kind of plastic, but I think it's going to be sturdy in the long run. The car mode's great. The robot mode's great. The Cheetah mode is okay, but again, that's more of the original design from Japan than Hasbro's fault. Articulation's actually pretty good. It's a little wonky in the legs, but I think it can work. In the chest and the shoulders, I think it's actually really good. So if you've collected the other Zords, then picking this guy up is a no-brainer because you want to form the Megazord. If you already have the Japanese version, you might think to yourself, I don't really need this. I would say that the Japanese version has known clip issues where those clips break over time, and I think this guy's going to be pretty solid, and I think he's built to take a little bit of abuse, especially from like children. So I think because of that, he might be a little bit sturdier in the long run. So if you're looking for something to kind of pick up and transform fairly frequently, I think this guy might survive all that. So that's a plus in its column. But yeah, overall, I would say if I had to pit him against like a $30 Transformer, I might say the Transformer is better, which is weird because they're both made by Hasbro, so you think they just kind of put the same quality into both. But like I said, I think this guy was meant for size and durability, whereas a Transformer or something like from the Siege line is more like smaller and intricate. So I think they're just kind of appealing to different markets or different I guess demographics, that's the word I want to use. So in any case, I think this guy's cool. I think it's worth picking up. I know a lot of the other Zords being at 30 kind of threw a lot of people because they didn't seem that intricate. But this is the one, if you were going to pick up only one, I would say either this one or the Wrecker because they have the separate robot mode. And I think the triple changer aspect makes them worth the 30. But the other ones I think are going to be fun because of how they combine with these. And the other thing is the combined Megazord, I forgot to say, it's probably a foot tall. I mean, I know you're used to Bandai Megazords where I could get a whole Megazord for $35-$40. This is now costing me $90, which is true. It's about at least double the price. But it's definitely probably double the size. I would say this guy right here is probably the size of a Bandai Megazord. When you put all three together, it almost doubles in size. So it's definitely super tall. So I know it's a lot more expensive, but I think the quality is better. You're certainly getting more paint applications and more articulation, and it's at least double the size. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but I definitely think this guy's worth it. So please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.